Last time you saw betrayal. A soldier returns home to find his house stolen, his land erased, and his honor mocked by a corrupt HOA president. But today, you'll see what happens when betrayal sparks a revolution. This is not just revenge, it's justice. And if you've ever felt powerless against corruption, this story will light a fire inside you. After I uncovered that shocking email, Karen Malister writing about cleansing deployed soldiers, I knew my fight wasn't only about my stolen home anymore. It was about dignity, about community, about drawing a line in the sand. But here's the truth. When you go against corruption, fear whispers in your ear. You're alone. You can't win. I almost believed it. Almost. Until I remembered something my commander once told me in Afghanistan. Corruption spreads like fire. The only way to stop it is to fight it in daylight, in front of everyone. That's when I made the call that would change everything. Calling in reinforcements. I dialed the number I hadn't touched in years. Colonel Miller. There was silence for a moment, and then the voice of my old commander came through the line. Calm but razor sharp. Coordinates? Structures involved? Quiet or dramatic? He didn't ask why. He didn't ask how. He already knew. If I was calling, it meant justice had been buried. My throat was dry, but I forced the word out. He chuckled softly. Understood. Operation Civic Shield. Dawn came with a roar. Helicopters thundered over Maple Trail. Blades slicing the morning sky. Military vehicles rolled onto streets, once reserved for golf carts and dog walkers. Neighbors peeked through curtains, jaws dropping as uniformed agents moved with precision. Karen Malister, the queen of HOA tyranny, stumbled outside in her silk pajamas, shrieking like the world was ending. This is illegal. You can't do this. I'm the president of this community. But her voice cracked when the federal agent shoved a thick folder of evidence in her hands. Forged documents, manipulated tax records, fraudulent land seizures. Her face turned from rage to ash. For the first time, she looked small. The neighbors find their voice. Here's the thing about corruption. It doesn't just victimize one person. It spreads like poison through the whole community. As Karen was being cornered, something powerful happened. One by one, neighbors stepped forward. Mrs. Henderson, the elderly woman who always waved at me before deployment, brought out faded photographs showing my cottage, the proof that it was mine long before the HOA erased it. Mr. Daniels, the quiet mechanic fined $2,000 for unauthorized paint colors, slammed his folder of receipts on the agent's table. A young mother revealed she'd been threatened with foreclosure because her toddler's toys were unsightly. The silence of fear was broken. The neighborhood spoke with one voice. Enough. It didn't take long for the cameras to arrive. Local reporters first, then national news. Drones hovered above the neighborhood, broadcasting the drama live. And then came the wave that no corrupt system can withstand: social media. Hashtag Justice for Alex trended within hours. Veterans groups rallied. HOA victims from across the country poured into comment sections with their own horror stories. What started as my personal fight became a national conversation. People weren't just watching. They were choosing sides. And Karen Malister had just become the face of everything rotten in HOA abuse. The second shock, deeper betrayal. Just when I thought the story couldn't get darker, my friend from military cyber operations called. There's something you need to see, Alex. He sent me files he'd uncovered. Karen hadn't only stolen my property. She had engineered the seizure of 5 other houses using the same scheme. Fabricated tax notices, secret board votes, falsified signatures. 5 families erased. 5 homes stolen. And no one had dared to speak, until now. I felt a cold fury run through me. This wasn't just about my porch swing or my memories. It was organized theft under the mask of community rules. When people feel isolated, corruption wins. But when they see others rising beside them, something primal awakens. The fear dissolves. Unity replaces silence. That's what happened in Maple Trail that week. Neighbors who had once ignored each other at HOA meetings now stood shoulder to shoulder. People who'd been fined, humiliated, or silenced finally realized they weren't crazy. They weren't weak. They were victims of a system designed to exploit them. And once people see the truth, they can't unsee it. The tension built each day. Agents collected evidence. Reporters camped on lawns. Karen's lawyers tried to spin the story, but every spin collapsed under the weight of proof. The more she fought, the more guilty she looked. For me, every sunrise was a reminder we were getting closer to justice. But I kept my guard up, because the closer you get to victory, the more desperate your enemy becomes. And that desperation would lead us into the final battle, because while Karen was cornered, the fight wasn't over. A courtroom awaited. A community's future hung in the balance, and a law that could change the lives of soldiers across America was about to be born. But that's part 3, the victory. If this uprising inspired you, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Because next time, I'll show you how one courtroom turned our fight into history, and how you can use the same strategies to fight corruption where you live.